Oh, howdy, Witchlings. How's your day going? Can you believe it's March? So, January was like the longest month in the universe. As we all know, there was something really off with that energy. And then February was fine, but it was also quite short. So, maybe this whole year is going to be short and it all happened in January. All of our emotional energy was invested in January this year. But now it's March. Can you believe it? I can. So I live in Michigan, which means that March for me is not a lovely springtime adventure. It is the land of slush, disgusting skies. It's like gross out. It's like slush. There's like mud everywhere. It ain't good times. So I wanted to give myself a little joy for March. So I invested an insane amount of time on this bullet journal plan. So I do not recommend. Will not do it again for a long time. But this video is going to be rather long, if you can't already tell by the timestamp. But I appreciate y'all hanging with me as I draw. So this first little drawing of this little moon cup is actually for sale, and I kind of really want it. I might ask for it for my birthday or something, which is in May. Top secret. So it's got a little moon, and then it's got little stars in the teacup, and it's so cute, and I love it. So I decided to draw it. And for that, I used a micron pen, and then I used some whiteout because I think that my white jelly pen is dying. And I will let you guys know, if you can't already tell, that baby is having some milk on my lap. So you'll probably hear some adorable little grunting, and then maybe some not so adorable yelling. I hope not. This is my second attempt. The first time I was recording, I didn't realize it, but she had actually unplugged my mic, my little snowball. So I was sitting here just trotting into Nowheresville, just like, hey y'all, don't you love my voice? But that was going nowhere. So here's round two, and I love you even more. So a couple other things I'm drawing. I have the bottom right of March is a little teapot and cup that's in the Museum of Modern Art, and I wanted to add more Momo pieces in here, but a lot of them were a lot more complicated, and I did a little test drawing, and they just didn't really come across as cool as they are, you know, in real life, as one would expect for something from a Museum of Modern Art. So I just added that one. Now there's like my favorite thing in the MoMA is this coffee pot. It's the Chemex, and it's so beautiful. It was actually in Rosemary's Baby as well. Here's some random industrial design facts. I went to school for industrial design. See how helpful that is for my life. But yeah, so I did go to school for design, but so I got some other teacups. I do have the classic tarot card teacup on the top left. I try to replicate myself, not as expertly as the original. Bottom left, we have a little cute tea egg, which would be kind of cool to have. We got little tea cozies, and we got a little teapot. I dig it. Little tea bags. So this one was very inspired by, what was her name, like Amanda Ray Leach, something like that. So she's like the bullet journal queen. She is queen, and she is so beautiful. I love her so much. But she likes to have these spreads where she just has a bunch of little drawings. But I think my too much gene, as Jenna Marbles would say, did kick in, because this page is so full, so much stuff. I did too much. So I think I need to learn how to be a minimal. And I'm not a minimal. I wish I was a minimal person, but if you were to come over to my house, you would see that I'm the opposite. I'm like a mix between like, I don't know, which crazy art mess person, and like it makes it look like I'm a hoarder, but I swear I'm not, because I just want to throw everything out. But then I'm like, I have this whole witchy mess that I kind of need. I made it once, I don't want to make it again. Oh yeah, I also added unnecessary tea leaves because I can't leave a space blank. That is a me problem. I need to overfill everything. So on my left, for my quote page, you will see I had a plan, and it was really hard because it was involving hands. So I decided that I wanted to do a little teacup being held by a pair of hands, and that was so annoying. Like, I tried to draw it several times, but I'm not into drawing hands. I don't do it very often. I don't tend to draw people. I did when I was young, when I was like in high school, in college. I did a lot of like character design. I actually made some character design for a video game that they sold. I don't know what became of it, but I never saw it again. So I did that, but I haven't done it forever. and it really doesn't inspire me as much as it used to. Now, I think animals really inspire me, but I really like doing that. But some of the tools I use, other than the ones I mentioned before, is I did use a lot of colored pencils, and I have, like you can see right there, it was a gold jelly pen. I really like the gold jelly pen. I would do more, who is it? The Plant-Based Bride has a set of paint that is like metallic gold watercolor, which is so cool. But I'll be honest, like, her work baffles me because somehow she can just paint in a journal and it doesn't completely ruin everything, because when I try to paint in a journal, it ain't good. It's just a mess. Like, I can't even use my Copic markers without it bleeding through everything. All right, you guys ready for hands? Because I was not ready for hands. I'm still not ready for hands. I tried drawing this so many times, and this final one, I decided that rather than trying to like draw any details, I would just do very gestural, very light line work so that it made the idea of hands without actually having to draw them. So the inspiration for this drawing was thefted from a beautiful artwork I found online. So I don't know who made it originally, but it's this little piece that is Harry Potter inspired, and it's this teacup with a black dog in it. Y'all want to give me a Patreon to get me a babysitter? I'll tell you guys, I would have so many more videos if I didn't have to take care of baby while I'm doing them for you. Because I don't, I mean, you probably can figure it out, but I do have like a normal job also. And then when I come home, my spouse goes to work, and so it's me and baby, and then I try to fit the videos in there. I was telling you a story about some cool art. So this really cool art I found was Harry Potter inspired, and it had teacups, Harry Potter holding the teacup in this sort of like top view angle, and it had the Grim in it, and it said, "My dear, you have the Grim," or "My dear boy, you have the Grim," from that really awesome tarot lady in Harry Potter who I love. She is my inspiration of life. I wish to be her. But rather than the Grim, I am more of a stag person. So a lot of times in my meditation and stuff, I do often see a stag, and sometimes I see bunnies. So in my teacup, I did the stag, I did the bunny, and then I also did a chalice. When I see the chalice, I really think about trying to harness your emotions and to help keep true to your own feelings, and I've been having a lot of issues with that lately, so I wanted to put that in there to keep me mindful of being true to my emotions, because this month, the month of February, I actually ended up going into pretty bad depression for a couple days, which I suppose is not that bad, just a couple days, but it was really dark, and it happened because I was trying to figure out something silly and simple with some shadow work, and I ended up going too deep, and I didn't do a good job at talking about where I was. I should have probably talked to a counselor or something, because I didn't have anybody to really dig into that with me, and then I got really, really into a dark place. So don't do that. If you're doing shadow work, try to talk to a therapist also, or at least have like a good family friend you can get deep with. So, hey, it's quote time. There is something in the nature of tea that leads us into a world of quiet contemplation of life. I love that for divination, because how much of a peaceful method is it to look into yourself? Because when you're having tea, you're being very introspective and contemplative, especially if you're making it like loose leaf like I do, because it's a ritual and you really have to think about it and be mindful, and it lights all your different senses. It makes it's smell, it's taste, it's feeling with a hot cup. You can hear the tea leaves swish, around there. Not necessarily, but you can hear yourself slurping, I guess. But it's just such a all senses method of divination, and it's very deep. And I think it's a time to contemplate even before you're licking the leaves. So the way that I do divination is I'll for the tea leaf reading, telegraphy, or whatever it's called. I just throw the loose leaf in a cup with the hot water. The best time is when I can use moon water, which is not always, because that would take so much moon water. But then I just drink my tea and contemplate what I'm thinking about for that time. And then I'll, once the tea is all consumed, I'll put it upside down on the teacup, the tea plate. And then I'll, look at it and see what's in there. And I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying to get better. I would like your guys' advice for tea leaf reading, because most times I do it, it gets pretty deep. It's like, okay, what's my future look like? What do I need to be on the radar for? But when I do it daily, like when I was doing tarot or runes daily, I would think like, what is my thing for today? What do I need to be worried about? What do I need to have on my radar? And that was super helpful for that, because you can just look up online, okay, what does this tarot that looks like a cross mean? Or what does this Three of Cups mean for tarot? Or what does the X mean for runes? And you can get a really good idea that there. But tea reading is so nuanced. It really needs to rely on your own intuition and ideas about tea leaves, because some person might see ants and I might see darts. I don't know. So it's you can't really look it up necessarily, because it's really about your idea of it. So how do you guys do it? Do you think it's reasonable for me to try to do one every day? Because I think that's a lot to ask, and it's a lot of reading into something. I'm gonna try though. So maybe like instead of taking a really long time to analyze, I might instead just look at it. What's the first image I see? Tell my tea like, I'm only gonna look at one thing and I gotta run off to work. So tell me what it is, and then I can kind of contemplate that image that I saw. I'll give it a shot. I'll let you guys know how it goes. If I get good at this, I'll let you know. So we're on to another page, and I totally didn't keep you in the loops. So for my month, so like the calendar of the month, rather than just doing a normal month, I instead decided to do a tea box. So like where you store your bags of tea. And this was too much. This is just way too much stuff to do. So like I said, I spent way too much time this month. So I made a little tea box, and then for the days of the month that were not filled with days in March, they're actually in February, I put little tea bags in there so that I would know it's a box of tea, not a box of chocolates, you know. I mean, chocolates go with tea, but that's not what I was going for. So my lid, I put March on the lid to kind of label the month, and it really needed more space to live on the left-hand side. If you guys were to do this, try to put it closer to the right so that your lid doesn't get chopped off and look janky, like someone's looking at it with a fish lens. And then another thing that's a downside of this one is that the only thing I can really fit in each day of the month is just the number. And I can't really fit things like stars, or like, I usually try to put stuff about my period in there too, so I can get it at a glance, and I don't really have space for that this time. So the positive is that it looks pretty cool, it's pretty satisfying, but there are some downfalls, so not recommend, but try it if you like. By the way, if you guys would like to share with me any of your spreads, I've noticed that the tag for my name Melangle on Instagram is not too popular, so if you wanted to, I'm wondering if you were just to like tag either Magick Melangle. My Instagram tag is magick.melangle, Melangle, just like my name. And then you could kind of share with me stuff that way, or we can just use hashtag Melangle. So just let me know if that works for you guys. I would love to see your work. Oh, somebody who's super cool, my February month, she actually, or they, I don't know, they actually used my quote and did a really awesome job at drawing it. And maybe if I'll try to link you in the comments when I find you, but you did just such an awesome job at your font for my quote for last month. It was so good. It was like nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it, something like that. But oh my gosh, you did such a good job, and I love you. You're so cool. So, and she just did hashtag magick.melangle, but I think hashtag Melangle should be okay if you guys like. Oh my gosh, I went on a tangent. So I colored in with some Prismacolor pencils to my little tea box there. And then for the events of the month of March, I just have teacups and then little tea bags so that I can write down what the thing is in the day. The day goes in the teacups or the tea bags, and then the event trails behind. For my tracker for my bands this month, I was really excited about this idea. This is like, once I saw tea tins, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I gotta do. So I made a little shelf where you could put your tea tins, and I put a bunch of tea tins in there so that each tea tin, I can write the band name inside of it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to fill it out. By the way, if you guys want to share me some bands, the month of February, I only discovered 2 bands, and they're kind of in the genre of I would say like Viking war music. So it's like metal-ish, but kind of chill. So if you guys have more bands, I would love to still discover bands for the month of February, and it's almost over. So tell me in the comments now. I need to listen. I need your music in my life. music gives my soul fire and excitement. So. But yeah, so I did this little cabinet here, and then I'm going to write the band names on each little tea tin, and you guys are going to see in a second. I'm really excited about this part too. On the top of the cabinets, I drew adorable happy teacups, and then in the steam, I'm going to write my validations so that the happy little teacups are spewing validations at me, and it's so cute, and I'm excited about it. I haven't done my thankfulness one, but I'm still kind of like shadowy about it. I don't know why it bothers me to be thankful. It could just be because of Christian upbringing where they're like, what are you thankful for? If it's not God, you're wrong. You gotta be thankful for the Lord Jesus. Any other thanks are not legitimate. How dare you thank your father for this meal instead of Lord Jesus? Baby talking again. Hey guys, the offer still stands. If y'all want me to make a Patreon to pay for a babysitter, I'm down. I'm just kidding. I get these out when I can. I love you. I love you guys. Have you considered liking and subscribing lately? This is your friend Melangle for a friendly reminder that it's healthy to like and subscribe the people you watch. And you could also share so that people know who I am. Because I should do a better job at that too, by the way. Like, I need to really do a better job at putting my stuff out there, because I think like my art's pretty okay. And I think maybe more people than, oh my gosh, 200 people like me now. You guys, I am so excited about that. I act like I need more people, but I'm just so happy about the 200 of you. And I would like to get more of a relationship with you guys too. Would you guys have any interest in a Discord? I hear that the cool kids be doing Discords lately, and I too enjoy Discord. So I mostly do it when I'm playing like Dungeons and Dragons with friends online, or if I'm playing like online games, which will not probably make it into this channel ever. but I do like to use Discord for that. So if that's something you guys would ever like to do, we could totally do that. I mean, I would love to chat with you guys more and get more like direct feedback about what you're interested in. It's like there's some things that I don't really have interest in doing myself on this channel that maybe you guys would, just because I think that the content's out there. For instance, things about how to find your deity, how to know if you're a witch, what are the top 10 new baby witch mistakes, those kind of things. Like, I think about them, but I'm like, there's so many really awesome videos that I love, like Harmony Nice, Anais, I think she's called the Magicians now. But they do such a good job at it, and like I'm like, oh, it's there. I mean, but there's not many people who are over here making like super messy, crazy chaos art in the direction of Magick. Just like me and Molly Roberts, and even her stuff is a bit messy, but I want more Molly Roberts, by the way, you guys. I started joining her Facebook page, and I really love it, but like I just need more of her. I need her soul. Like, I want to go visit her. I would love to collab with Molly Roberts. That's like my dream. Ever since I decided that I wanted to make a witchy YouTube, my dream was like collab with Molly Roberts. And she only lives across the lake from me, as far as I know. I would love Molly, collab with me. Okay, so back on to the bullet journal. So my mood trackers, I tried to make a bunch of different teacups, and I'm gonna fill each one with my mood. So a lot of people do like a scale, like 1 to 10 mood, but a lot of times my moods don't fit in there. So I might be having a depressed day, or I might be having an anxiety day, or I might be having a sick day. And all those might be between like, in a 1 to 10 scale, it might be like a 1 to 3, but what kind of 1 to 3? Like, I feel like that's really critical for me. So I know if it's my anxiety or something else. Like, I had dairy and I felt sick. Like, those are different things. So I do like a bunch of different categories, and it seems to work out okay. But I was wondering what other people do, because I know other people do more of that scale, like the 1 to 5 scale. And then onto my trackers. I was really super stoked about this idea, guys. So for my meds, I did make a little tea box again, like my March journal, like my March calendar in my journal. And then for the other trackers, this one made me so happy. I saw this really adorable drawing of a tea bag with little tea in it, like little almond shaped tea leaves, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if each little tea leaf was a time that I did the thing, and then I could color the tea bag? I was so excited. So I made a bunch of different kinds of tea, because some things I don't want to do every day, like offering to my deities. I do it more like once a week. So those ones are big tea leaves, like hibiscus, and then other ones are small, like chamomile or like Earl Grey, you know? So yeah, I was so excited. So I got one for Magick, I got one for YouTube videos, Instagram, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it made me really happy. So I recommend, if you guys do this one, like I said before, totally hashtag me Melangle or Magick Melangle. And then if you guys want to have our own hashtag together, let me know if you have any ideas on that. So my mood font, I always do the same thing, which I am starting to bother myself with. But my tracker one with the little teacups, the letters inside, oh my god, it made me so happy. It's so cute. Okay, so I'm adding a couple things this month that I didn't do before. One thing that I had a tracker for in the past was my YouTube videos, but I didn't end up using it because it was too cute and I didn't want to ruin it, so that's a problem. So instead of worried about it being too cute, I'm just going to put like a much more simple spread where I just put what the idea is, when I've videoed it, when I've edited it, that kind of thing. I am hoping for this March to make it a magical March where I have videos up more than once a week. We shall see how things go with my little baby here. But that's my goal. I'm going to try really hard for you guys to, ideally, I would like to do a video every day, but I know that's just really, really hard for me. But I'm going to try to add more than once a week. So I'm hoping for a magical March. So I'm adding a lot more ideas in here in hopes that I can get a lot more ideas out for the month of March. Another thing I'd like to try to do this month is I do want, like, the little icons that come up for the YouTube video. I know I need to have a theme where each one looks the same, and I'd like to design that for myself. So that's another thing I'd like to use my prior tracker for, is to figure out what I want that to look like so I can be consistent and have the same thing every time. Like I was saying before, I did actually go to school for design. I should be able to figure this stuff out. This shit should not be a problem for me, like, to come up with it, but it's just like sitting down and deciding what it's going to be and being consistent. That's something that I need to work on. So I'm hoping that I can design that and just be really cool and have the same thing every single time that I upload something, where it just has like the look of it or whatever, and then like the same theme. Like a good example would be like drawing with waffles. Her little icons are adorable and you know what she's doing every time, but they look consistent and the same, and they're really clear. And that's the kind of thing that I'd like to try to do. And I need to come up with my own idea for it that's distinctly and specifically Melangle. Because I have my own aesthetic. My aesthetic is messy and it's witchy and it's mine. And I love you and I love it. So I'm working on hopefully doing that too, so that I can have the same format to just pop in all of my videos, so you guys all know it's me when it pops up on your feed, so that you know, like, oh my gosh, Melangle uploaded one. I'm gonna click on in there. So this last page here after the YouTube videos is the different kinds of teas I bought at the little health food store. It's called Anne's, by the way, and it's in the city just adjacent from me, and she's adorable and I love her, and I always buy her all of her spices because I'm a witch and that's what I do. And she's like, oh, you're buying all this. You've completely annihilated my stock, but that's okay. So I'm plotting out each tea that I'm going to do this month, and I'm going to write in the nature of the tea, how it tastes, if I like it, that kind of thing. Voiceover, bye!
Hey bitches, let's do a close look at this thing. So here's my quote. Here's my drawing I spent a too insane amount of time on. Screw hands. Ooh, here's my shiny pen. Ooh. Month page. Look at that cute moon. So cute. Here's my nail I broke. Y'all ready for the reveal on that? Hang on. Check this out. Let me take off this child stick-on nail. Look, I broke my nail. Gross. Here's the month of March. Here's my band tracker. My validations tracker. Mood. Whiteout. And my other stuff tracker. Look at those cute little flowers. and YouTube stuff. Would y'all like a magical merch? Because I could maybe do a bunch of videos from merch. So, and then here I am going to put some correspondence for these and how they work best for divination. You know, like how I'd rate their divination ability. And finally, my first week in March. Check out that gold paint, y'all. So I'm gonna use these little circles to put in my divinations and kind of like draw what I saw in my divinations and tea. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic March. I know it sucks. It's not yet spring, but hey, I'll be here and I love you. Goodbye. Like and subscribe.